Hello, everyone. This is Andrew, and I want to do a quick review of Uzaki-chan episode 11. I know I said I wouldn't do a episode review of an episode, just one, but this episode leaves a good cliffhanger for what happens, what's going to happen in episode 12, which hasn't been released yet as I'm recording this right now. So let's just get to the review right away. So the first part is Sakurai in his apartment waiting for Uzaki-chan to come over, who's been coming over every single day, and has realized that she's just been leaving stuff on like the floors and just leaving stuff in his apartment. And he started to just get like really angry, which I would understand. A person coming over and leaving stuff on the ground, especially if they come every day, is really annoying. So as he waits for her, she finally comes in, and they have some bickering here and there. So after that, he goes, "You need to clean this up right now." And they start going through different, start picking up the trash, but they're going through different items. Like, you know how you would clean up places, and then you'd like pick up something like a bracelet or something, and you'd start playing with it, or you'd have like headphones or something else. Like, I have a bunch of stuff over here next to me. So it was kind of one of those, and there's some pop culture references. I think one is like Jurassic Park. There might be a couple to other ones, maybe some like obscure ones. Other than that, it just kind of settles until Sakurai starts to get into this lecture. You know how he usually does. He lectures Uzaki, which she's finally found a counterattack of like putting groceries in his fridge, and he's like, "What is this?" He goes, "I was planning to cook for you," so that gets him to kind of stop and like, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna. I feel sorry for trying to lecture you." So there's that. In this episode, there's a lot of quick scenes, basically, just like quick little mini stories, and then it finally goes to. It finally gets to that really nice main story. So after this little mini story, the next scene is him at work with Uzaki, and the boss asked him if we'd like to do food prep to help out better. So he's like, "All right, sure, I'll give it a shot." So he tries it. He makes a dish, and it looks like death. It looks awful. Like that had to be his first time cooking, or at least like cooking something complex. Because when you start cooking, like eggs are not that hard, bacon is not that hard. Like things that you just put in a pan and that's it, like that's not hard. The only hard part is when you start getting more complex, especially like when you're working in a restaurant. It gets really difficult on how complex you have to make stuff. So he messes up. He goes, "You can laugh at me if you want." He talks to the boss and Ami, and then you just see a huge shot of Uzaki just laughing loudly in his face, and then it just turns into bickering for a while. This is like one of the few scenes that lead into the next scene, because the next scene is Sakurai asking Uzaki's mom to teach him how to make stuff. So what they're making now is udon, like from scratch. Like they're kneading the dough and everything. And the misunderstanding finally clears up just a tiny bit, where she's like, "Oh, he's actually a nice guy. Like he's not really looking at me, so now I can kind of focus and stare at him, and you see that he's a nice guy, and I'm talking to him casually." So they finally wait for the dough to kind of settle, which is like 20 minutes for the dough to settle, and they said in the show, I think. And after a while, she leaves. Uzaki and Sakurai, they were together. They're just playing around, messing around. After that, Uzaki's mom's about to come through the door and check. Lo and behold, they're talking about cats, but really, like, she thinks they're talking about something else. Again, so it's a huge misunderstanding again. That's where it ends. Like, that scene is fun. It's fun to watch, but it doesn't really lead to anywhere specific. So, I mean, it's a fun watch for that scene. The next one is, since Uzaki-chan was laughing at Sakurai for not being good at stuff, or at least good at cooking, he asked her to hang out at like a rock climbing place that he's never been to, and they've both never been there. So they're doing a rock climbing event. The scenes there are pretty decent. They're pretty fun to watch. There's one little romantic scene at the end where she's like, "Oh, I quit. You know, you're better than me. I'll let you have this one." And she just watched him climb rocks, and kind of reminds him how he used to be in high school. Really good scene. Really nice animation. You know, it's sort of quick. It's like maybe like 5 minutes of the episode, and that's kind of it. After that, there's one where they're talking about solo karaoke, which is like people just go to karaoke bars like alone, and they just like hang out alone, like how Retsuko would do it in season 1. If you've ever watched Retsuko, which I would recommend watching, you know, he's by himself singing, and he turns around, and he sees Uzaki and Ami just hanging out the door, looking like slightly drunk, looking at it. And this is the part where it gets really fan servicey. I think I have like. I hope I edit this in. I have a photo, I think, somewhere saved on my photo for this video to show you just a little bit of the fan service. So if you love fan service, you like uzaki-chan, here you go. That's perfect. So after that, they do a couple more different costumes, and Uzaki wears this bunny outfit, which I'm not gonna show, because this is more like an enticing thing. If you want to watch it, this is perfect. It's one of the better episodes, I'll say. It's overall enjoyable. So she wears this bunny outfit. They finally change back, and Ami goes, "What's your favorite costume?" And without hesitating, Sakura, who's I guess a little bit buzzed, goes, "The bunny outfit Uzaki-chan wore." And it's just like a weird, awkward moment between Uzaki and Sakurai. So after that, it leads into a really good cliffhanger of the show for episode 11. So it ends with Sakurai at his apartment while it's just pouring rain. Like, it's pouring rain over the city. And he's kind of just sitting there, and he hears a knock on the door, and he goes, "Oh, that's probably Uzaki." Like, he knows it's Uzaki. He's already starting to apologize for what he said. And you see Uzaki in the rain, like drenched in like water. And he goes, "What are you doing in the rain?" And she's like, I can't hang out with you anymore." And like, you don't see her eyes, and you just see tears like in her eyes. So, and it's not like nothing else happens. That's it. It's crying, "I can't hang out with you," just ends. Literally just ends. That's it. I think the only response you get is "huh" from him, and that's it. If this is probably the one I would say the most not to skip. Don't skip. It's really good episode. It kind of drags in the beginning where it's a little too. The episodes are a little too split for me, which I get because it's a bunch of mini stories packed into one episode, but it really just like drags in the beginning, but it starts to pick up near the end, and it's a really good episode. So I would recommend watching it. Like I said, I don't want to spend too long. I feel like I spent long enough saying it, but go ahead and watch this. This is something you shouldn't skip. So I hope your day's awesome, viewer. I'll see you in the next one.